Alright, so spirituality really just means, well, spirit is the old word, so to speak, for energy. Why is that? Because when sages or wise men, very smart people who had well-developed minds, well-developed eyes and sensory organs, would eventually start to see weird mist, weird hazy electrical staticky stuff, and they would wonder, what exactly is this? They would feel in their bodies this driving force, this strange force which they divided into yin and yang, or positive and negative. Positive energy seemed to be warming and stimulating and forward going. It seemed to rush upwards, for example, while negative energy rushed downwards. It seemed to form into matter. It was cold, it was negative. Women seem to have more negative matter, because if you're going to grow a human within you, you're going to, need more of this. Similarly, if you stay at home more, or you stay in the village more, you're more relaxed. Through relaxation and peace and eating and such, you get more negative energy, which is good for your body. While the men would be out, they would be working, they would be in the sun, they would be active, and of course, naturally, just being a man, you produce masculine energy, while a woman produces feminine energy. But both people produce both forms of energy. So eventually they just kind of figured these things out through, observation and such. Similarly, they would look at things, for example, they would look at the sun and say, the sun is radiant, it gives masculine energy, it is a spiritual entity within the sky. In fact, they said all of the luminaries, meaning the planets and all of the stars and such, were spiritual things. The heavens is a giant spiritual field, or some kind of giant electromagnetic field. Like some kind of electromagnetic void or something, with these strange spiritual or energetic things, centers in there. While the earth is more a physical thing, with water channels and minerals and plants and all that. And to be honest, understanding both the physical and the energetic or the spiritual is very important. The physical studies is of alchemy, which is why alchemy, or science, you could say, goes hand in hand with theological, religious, spiritual, or energetic practices. Now, everything has an energy to it. I don't want to say everything is energy, because not exactly. You have to burn something or transmute it to get energy from it. Well, technically everything kind of radiates energy, so you can put your hand near it, but it's not that everything is energy, it's that physical matter is formed from energy, or formed from spirit. Now this spirit or matter, for example, if you if you started to heat up water, you would see a spirit rise from it. The physical water, which is related to the water element, has then started to emanate some kind of mist, which is related to the air element. This is the water in air form. Similarly, if you burnt oil or some kind of volatile, like a high percentage alcohol, you start to produce a flame. Now the flame is of course the volatile oils or the volatile essences, like alcohol is a volatile essence, olive oil is a oil. If you burn these, you produce a heat. It is a spirit. Fire is a spirit. Similarly, the smell coming off, the emanation coming off alcohol, or if you open like sulfuric acid or hydrochloric and you see that mist coming up, it's a spirit. Now there are different kinds of spirits, which spirit simply means a non-physical thing, essentially. You have the air form, which is things like, the alcohol, the emanation of alcohol or a mineral acid, just regular air, the mist that, comes from heating water. Then you have the fire level, which is things like fire, plasma, it's electricity. Technically, you can put electricity in its own category if you want to do that, but you can also put it in the category of fire. So this is a higher level spirit or energetic substance, so to speak, than air. You can kind of think the highest is pure energy. So as pure energy condenses, it condenses further into kind of like electromagnetic fields and such, and flames and all that, and then it condenses down into airs, and then it condenses down into waters, and finally into earths, if you want to look at it alchemically. But really, if you want to understand spirituality, you just have to understand that it is the science of energy. Why are spiritual people so fascinated with crystals? It's because if you hold a crystal, it changes your energy. You start to feel a resonance around a crystal. If, for example, you fill your room full of peculiar metals like gold or silver or copper or mercury, you will feel the energy from those. If you, for example, had a giant glass ball, be careful, of course, of mercury, like you had like a liter glass ball and it was just sitting there, you would gain more intelligence just from the fact that it is right there. If you spend a lot of time around iron, you will gain more strength, for example. You're absorbing the spiritual, radiant energy. Per tip, iron actually draws in and resists and kind of is a negative to etheric energies or spiritual or energies. While something like gold radiates it out, mercury can also receive it, for example. So different metals have different properties when relating to spiritual energies. Electricity goes through a copper wire through iron because of its qualities. Again, electricity is just condensed positive form energy. Magnetism is just negative energy. Magnetism is a wide, more watery, more spherical version, and electricity is a more positive, more linear, condensed version of pure energy. You are living in a magnetosphere, some kind of electromagnetic field of the earth. People who practice spiritual practices learn how to feel the energy within their body, how to feel the energy of the organs, how to use that to enhance, for example, their secretion of organs and glands. For example, you don't need thyroid hormones if you can feel your thyroid area, your throat area, and relax it and tonify it. You don't need testosterone if you can feel your testicles and you can energize those, even through something like massage of the throat or the testicles, or the pancreas or the adrenals, for example. If you relax the focus of the adrenals, for example, because your focus, your energy, your focus taps you into the energy. Then you're feeling, so your mental focus, you focus on that pure energy. Your feeling is more the flesh body. So you have two forms of feeling, so to speak. You have a physical sense and an energy sense. The energy sense is lighter. People who are more spiritual, like indigo children, for example, are focusing on the energy of everything. People who are more shamanic, psychic people, they're focusing on like the water, the psychic aspects of things, for example. Physical, material, kind of mundane people focus on the physical, material, mundane things. That's why they think, if you just say, you try to be like, hey, can I grab your hand? And you give them energy and you say, did you feel that? They might say no, because they don't have developed senses. So what we do in spiritual practice is we develop our senses of energy. You can also see energy, you can hear it, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can touch it, every single sense, because it is simply just the subtleness of things. And within energy, of course, there are energy beings, which we call spirits or ghosts, which are simply just beings that exist instead of physically, they exist psychically, and you can see them with your imagination if they are imaginary beings, or actually with your physical eyes. You might get glimpses of little lights, for example, or orbs. Some people work with orbs and they can actually physically see them. So depending on the density level, imagination is a higher, a lower dense level than light, for example, which is a more dense level. So going back to something like alchemy, an alchemist is interested, of course, in the physical transmutations and physical matter, but they're also interested in the energy of something. Why is it that ginseng, for example, grown for 100 years, has more energy, more medicinal property than something grown for one? It's because it absorbs the energy. Now what happens if you try to condense pure energy into matter? You get a salt or a crystal. A crystal is actually the purest form of physical matter, and it is essentially condensed energy, condensed light in one sense, light and darkness, I guess you could say, turned into a physical form, which is why alchemists are very interested in crystals and what they can do. All forms of crystals, the ones you make, the ones you can buy from a new age store or on eBay or whatever, they're all good. So really, to practice your spiritual practice, to do spiritual practices, is to study energy, is to feel energy, is to feel it within you. Do work with your aura, do work with the centers, the chakras in the body. Try to externalize your energy to heal people, to make energy balls, and maybe one day you'll make a fireball. At least I hope. But really, I guess that sums it up. That is really the study and practice of spirituality. Is the study and practice of energy. Of course, check the links in the description if you're interested in social and commercial stuff. And as always, have a nice day.